Hello everybody. On the 8th or 9th of March, depending where in the world you live, we've got a total solar eclipse at 18 degrees 55 minutes of Pisces. Pisces, what's Pisces all about? Pisces is the very last sign in the zodiac. So in many ways it encompasses everything that's gone before it. Yes, we start off with Aries, let's get up and go, and Taurus will make money, and Gemini will learn new things, and Cancer the home, and all the different life areas that we go through with all the other signs. And then we come to Pisces. And Pisces in many ways is the most mysterious of all the signs. It's the one that you can't grasp really, it's hardest to grasp, because it's ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is the planet that has no boundaries. It doesn't know separation, it just knows an inclusion of everything. It sees everything as being important, as being valuable. It sees us as being totally one and totally connected. So that's the energy of this Pisces. Pisces is about us seeing our connectedness, seeing that we have so much more in common than we have that is not in common with one another. We've all got hearts that are beating, blood that's going round our veins. We're deeply connected. It may look as though there's a lot of empty space around us, but I would hazard to guess that this empty space, so-called empty, is teeming with life, and that science sooner or later is going to show us how much life is there. I mean, think about it. Think about waves, radio waves. They're almost magical. Think about the internet. Isn't that just magical, the way that millions of us connect in ways that we've never been able to do before? Yes, we've still got this Saturn square Neptune going on, and boy, we are seeing this Neptune, ruler of Pisces, really playing out strongly in our world right now. And this Saturn Neptune is strong this year. We're seeing Saturn in Sagittarius, and Saturn is square, in fact, to this eclipse. Saturn in Sagittarius, we've got Donald Trump there speaking his mind, and many following him, and Saturn speaking about borders, boundaries, religion, Sagittarius, boundaries, creating separation amongst us. Also our ideals, countries, boundaries, again countries, trade, the UK, now a referendum coming up about a possibility of exiting Europe. Again, Saturn in Sagittarius here. Oh, and Neptune saying, with the Pisces energy, we are together, we are one. How can we find more connection than separation? This is going to be a theme. And at the same time, within ourselves, so look inside yourself. Where are you putting up walls? Where are you keeping things at a distance? And how can you know that you need to include everything? Because it's almost like when you keep one thing at a distance and say, I don't want that, then by default, in my view, you're also keeping out some of the wonderful things that could come to you. So this is going to be the challenge here, one of the great challenges of this that's going to be triggered by this eclipse. And we're going to see it globally, and we're going to see it internally. And it's going to be very much because we've got so much mutable energy this year. 2016, as I said, is the mutable year. And mutable to me comes from the word mutate. And to mutate means to change, to be adaptable, to be flexible, to allow yourself to flow just like the fish. The fish, they flow. There's a flowing energy. And you know how it is when you get into sync, you get into that flow in your life, and the right bus or train comes along just as you turn up at the stop, and things just are easy. You meet the right people, you have wonderful experiences, you feel as though you're in that flow of life, and you know when you're in it, and you know when you're not in it. And We've also got an opposition going on with Jupiter. Opposition I really ought to put in red here. So we've got Jupiter opposite, and we've got this T-square going on at the time of this solar eclipse. So Jupiter here in Virgo, and Jupiter, the planet of good fortune, of expansion. And when it's in opposition, there is a tendency sometimes to, in your enthusiasm, take on a little bit more than you can chew. I'm just going to caution you about this and remind you of Mark Twain's saying, it's very much easier to get into something than it is to get out of it. So just keep that in mind here. So the dynamic here really is Saturn is saying, okay, you need to have maybe a little more patience. You need to find creative ways around situations and learn how to become more flexible. That's going to be the real ultimate key to dealing with this mutable energy during this year. Because if you can do that, you can create magic in your life. I've started to do yoga, for example, a few months ago because I've always had a very stiff body, could never touch my toes or anything like that. And you know what? I can actually do somersaults forwards and backwards. I never thought I'd be able to do that, get that flexibility in my body. So maybe it's physical flexibility that you want to get. Maybe it's mental flexibility. Sometimes we've got repeated thinking patterns that keep us very limited in the Saturn energy. And for example, I've always resisted when I go to IKEA. I recently bought some office drawers, and I always would have someone else put them together. And I thought, no, mutable energy, let's try to do it myself. And you know, I enjoyed that experience so much that when I was screwing in that last screw, I felt a little bit sad that that lovely experience was coming to an end, and the feeling of accomplishment of doing something outside of which I would normally do. So maybe it's mental, maybe it's emotional for you, where you need to become more flexible and not get stuck in a certain emotion. Sometimes people get stuck in a depressed emotion, and the same thoughts keeping more depression. So just making a suggestion here, because I'm feeling that it's in our fluidity and our adaptability that we're going to be able to work with this energy in a very, very positive way. It's also going to be important to remember to laugh, to smile, and to notice the moments of joy, the moments of pleasure that you get. For example, I've had in the apartment here, a very empty apartment for a long time, sitting eating on the floor, which is great. And recently I got a little table. And today a cat came by. And she looked in, and I could see her face. She couldn't believe that there was something actually in the room. Quite surprised she was. Anyway, went off for a few seconds, and she came back again to have another look. You know, curiosity, cats. And it was such a joyful moment, a moment of upliftment. So notice those moments of upliftments, because they may be fleeting. And I'd love to hear them from you. Let's share them. Let's have that grow. Let's have these upliftment moments grow so that we get more into the Neptune energy and less into the Saturn energy of keeping one another apart and distant. Thank you very much for listening. Happy total eclipse in Pisces.